Hi, welcome to 30 Days of Transformation. Today's day 2, I want to talk a little bit today about what we're going to do over the next month or so. But also I want to give you some ideas about this from the yoga perspective of what it means to be a human being and what it means to be healthy. Because I think whatever you think causes a problem is going to determine the way you address that problem. So if you have challenges with mental health or with resilience, if you have chronic health challenges, and you tend to default to those typical ways of knowing about what we are as human beings, which if in the case of Westerners is the biomedical model, then we tend to find solutions that are not as deep and effective as solutions that come about because of a deeper understanding of what we are as human beings. So I want to talk about that a little bit this morning. But first, I just want to kind of get into a little bit about what we're going to do over the next month. As you know, as some of you might know, I started this challenge. Somebody said to me, one of my friends said to me, "Oh, you have so many tips and things to offer people. You should do a challenge." And I thought, well, yoga challenge, I'm not like the handstand queen or anything. And that's usually what you see in these 30-day challenges. So I decided I would do one that's more based on using yoga techniques that help to build resilience and help to build stronger foundations for better mental health. So I started this challenge last month, and then I got sick. So I stopped in the middle of it, and I thought, I'm just going to start all over again. So I hope this is useful for you. I really appreciate if you leave comments or if you leave a like if you're here, that would be great. And I get to all the comments sometime later in the day, so I'll respond to everything. Okay, so some of the things we're going to be doing. First of all, I wanted to make it a simple challenge so that there's 3 bullet points every day, and those might be things like techniques, key holistic techniques, things you can do in under 5 minutes a day. There might be some resources. I love keeping up with the latest in research and neuroscience and some of the fascinating books that have come out linking or connecting health to yoga. So I'll be providing those resources and then talking about some of the leaders in the field and some of the work that's going on out there. So those are the things we're going to be doing over the next month. So right now I'm going to see if my screen share works here. I'm going to try to share this screen with you. See if it works. I think I actually have to do it before I go live. I'm not sure if you can see it or not. I'll try and see if it works. Let's see. No, it looks like I have to end the video broadcast before I can screen share. So sorry about that. I'll just talk about some of the models. And maybe, yeah, I know what I can do. I can leave some of the pictures in the comments. I can definitely do that. So let's talk about some of the models of what human beings are from the perspective of Western science and then also from the perspective of the yoga tradition. So, to start with, there's something called the biomedical model. And that was like the common model of the 20th century for fixing whatever ails you. And basically it looked at you like you are a car. And, so if you run out of certain fluids or certain components you need to be healthy, or if something breaks down, you fix the part, but the reality is that human beings are not cars, as you know, and so that model is largely defective. I mean, it's necessary. It has some value, of course, but it's also an insufficient model. It doesn't really explain the depth of what we are as human beings, and because of that, we tend to look at ourselves like, oh, something's wrong. I don't have enough certain vitamin or mineral in my diet. If I put that in, then that's what then I'll be healthy, Or the other thing, like a article just came out recently talking about how human beings lose weight across the board. Doesn't matter what blood type you are or anything like that, but human beings will lose weight if they it's not about the calories in, calories out, right? Which would be a car kind of formula. And, how many of you have been to the doctor and that's what the doctors tell you because they're thinking from that biomedical model. But actually what the article showed is that, I mean, it's so obvious that people lose weight because they eat healthy foods and they cut down on refined and garbagey foods. Duh. Like, we all have known that for a long time, but the way that the biomedical model makes us think is much more mechanistically and much more like we're a car. So what yoga offers is many models of being that offer us an alternative to that kind of understanding, right? So, for example, we have something called the Sharira model that comes from Vedanta. Sharira means body. And the Sharira model says there are three bodies. There's a causal body, there's a subtle body like the chakras, and then there's a gross body. And the gross body is a manifestation of the causal and the subtle bodies, right? We also have, and if that's the case, then that's going to make us look into the subtle and the causal bodies for solutions to whatever is the problem with this physical structure. We also have the kosha model, which looks at human beings that they come from this source of oneness, this Atma. Atma is Brahman. Brahman is that ocean of oneness. And we come from Atma, and then we come down into this joy body, this bliss body, Anandamaya kosha. And from bliss, we go into our wisdom body, then the mental body, then the pranic body, then the physical body. So again, the physical body is a manifestation of all those causal flow and all those causal layers. And then another model we have, of course, is the chakra model. And the chakra model says, again, that the physical body is a manifestation. I'm going to sneeze. Is a manifestation, excuse me, of the more subtle bodies, right? So whichever of these models that you look at, the models are pointing in the direction of a spiritual causality. Now, if that's the case, that means that we have to look in that direction for more viable and long-lasting solutions to whatever the problems are. So if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with chronic pain, if you're dealing with chronic health challenges, what these models are informing us, the way these models are informing us is that we can look towards more sustainable solutions if we look up into where we've come from, right? This poses some problems with the Western mindset and with the Western value of plurality, because oftentimes when we think about spirituality, we equate that with religion, and then we start down that rabbit hole of excluding people. And so we have to be really mindful of the way that we put this together. I've just been working on an article. I just published an article with several other wonderful colleagues about the fundamental mechanisms that that explain how yoga therapy works. And it was very deeply problematic in looking at this, because we had to consider the fact that people have different belief systems. And so, you tend to default to this biomechanical model, this biomedical model of human existence. And it's so deeply unfortunate, because there's a large body of research, much of it out of Duke University and some from other universities, Columbia and some other universities, that correlates better health outcomes with people that value spirituality and that have spiritual communities. So, it's definitely a conundrum, and it's a problem. Nevertheless, we have to, just because something is a problem doesn't mean we should ignore it or we should dismiss it. Rather, we have to find ways of talking about causality, of talking about health, of talking about ontology, what we are as human beings, that is inclusive rather than exclusive, and includes different belief systems, even an atheist belief system. So I wanted to, so maybe I'll leave some of the models in the comments so you can see some of the pictures, and I'll try and figure it out for tomorrow, how to better live stream so you can see my screen. And as we get into this over the coming days, I hope that I can give you some tips that you're going to be able to implement right away and start to make some changes in your life. But that mindset is the first thing. So starting with that mindset of understanding that we're something deeper, something more complicated, something much more nuanced and beautiful than a car. And if we can start from that place, then we can really make some significant and transformative changes. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Please leave a comment. Namaste.